During the initial stages of the Second World War, Germany's superior technological advancements and military prowess positioned it significantly ahead of its adversaries. With sophisticated air force and finely honed battlefield tactics, Germany maintained a formidable edge over its opponents. It also had a lot of highly developed, well-structured and powerful tank units, capable of dealing with almost everything the Allied forces could throw at them. Then, they unleashed a tank in 1942 that would strike fear and terror into the hearts of many an Allied soldier and tank men. The tank, officially designated as Panzerkampfwagen 6 Tiger E, is better known to us as the Tiger I. The Tiger's lethal 88mm gun, seemingly impenetrable 120mm armor, and the haunting legends that circulated among soldiers created a chilling and formidable combination on the battlefield. The Tiger was also an engineering marvel and was one of the most complex designs of the war. It loomed as an imposing presence on the battlefield, initially overpowering and overshadowing Allied tanks in both firepower and defenses. The relentless propaganda machine of Joseph Goebbels played a major role in glorifying the Tiger. Tank aces like Michael Wittmann and Otto Carius were catapulted into the spotlight and lavishly honored for their battlefield exploits. In a stark contrast, Allied and American forces were portrayed as paralyzed combatants, seemingly unable to crack the Tiger's impenetrable armor or match its thunderous firepower. Did it truly warrant the fearsome reputation it garnered? Or was it an over-engineered, resource-intensive, and unreliable machine? Let's journey back through history's chapters in pursuit of an answer. The origin of the Tiger series dates back to 1939, but it wasn't until May 1941, prompted by the Wehrmacht's call for a 45-ton vehicle armed with an 88mm gun, that development gained momentum. Multiple companies endeavored to meet these specifications, yet it was the Henschel design selected for widespread production, commencing in August 1942. The 88mm KWK 36L56, designed by Krupp, found its origins in their 88mm Flak 36 anti-aircraft gun. Renowned as one of the war's most potent tank guns, this gun majorly fueled the Tiger's fearsome reputation. The gun's semi-automatic loading system featured an auto-opening breech block and an auto-cocking mechanism. This advanced design facilitated the ejection of the spent shell casing as soon as a round was fired. Subsequently, the gun would automatically recock itself, remaining primed for the swift insertion of the next round. This innovation significantly boosted the tank's rate of fire, enabling a consistent and relentless barrage on the battlefield. The gun's fast muzzle velocity and exceptionally flat trajectory were largely attributed to the length of its barrel, measuring 56 calibers by 88mm, totaling 4,928mm, or approximately 16.2 feet. This extended barrel allowed for a more prolonged action of expanding gas on the shell, compared to shorter barrels, resulting in an impressive muzzle velocity ranging between 780 to 800 meters per second, depending on the ammunition used. This not only granted the gun remarkable accuracy, but also gave it high penetration. The Tiger's exceptional accuracy was further enhanced by the inclusion of remarkable optics housed within the turret, specifically the TZF-9B binocular sight. This sophisticated sighting system facilitated precise targeting, enabling the Tiger to swiftly acquire and lock onto its intended targets. Once a target was acquired, the Tiger proved devastatingly effective, with the KWK 36L56 capable of piercing 112mm of armor at a range of 1,400 meters. It effortlessly sliced through most, if not all, Allied vehicles, like a hot knife through butter. The Tiger's rolled homogeneous nickel-steel plate armor established its dominance on the battlefield. Boasting 100 millimeters of frontal armor and a robust gun mantlet measuring 120 millimeters, the Tiger I shrugged off the majority of shots fired by Allied guns. Even from the sides, where it featured 60 to 80 millimeters of armor, Allied vehicles faced immense difficulty in penetrating the Tiger's defenses. This resulted in moments of disbelief for Allied tank crews, witnessing their shots helplessly ricochet off the Tiger, while it effortlessly annihilated them from considerable distances. In September 1942, the first Tigers rolled out to confront the Red Army on the Eastern Front near Leningrad. Barely 3 months later, they found themselves facing the Allies in the Tunisian desert. The Tiger soon gained a fearsome reputation during this period. Its substantial armor left crews in dismay as their shells futilely rebounded off the Tiger's hull and turret. An early encounter in Tunisia epitomized this dominance, as 8 rounds fired from a 75mm artillery gun bounced off the tank's side from a mere 45 meters away. The disparity was stark. While most Allied tanks remained vulnerable to the Tiger even at distances of 2,000 meters, they typically had to close the gap to within a few hundred meters to have any hope of disabling the Tiger. According to the renowned Panzer Ace Otto Carius, who achieved numerous victories in the Tiger tank, the most important strengths of the Tiger I were the 88mm gun, the optics, and the armor. It could face T-34s and destroy enemy tanks from distances we never could dream about before. We never shot at 2,000 or 3,000 meters. It was a waste of ammunition. I always fired at all enemy tanks at a range of 700 to 800 meters to guarantee all tanks hit were destroyed with a single shot, and because it's 700 to 800 meters, you weren't able to fail. The production of Tiger I tanks, numbering 1,347 from August 1942 until the war's end, paled in comparison to the staggering quantities of 40,000 American M4 Shermans and 50,000 Soviet T-34s circulating during the same period. Despite this disparity, the Tiger I's combat record boasted a staggering 9,850 confirmed kills, a remarkable feat achieved with only 1,715 losses, inclusive of tanks recovered and re-entered into service. In stark contrast, Sherman crews faced a staggering 580% higher loss rate in comparison. So, the Tiger stood as a formidable, well-armed, and heavily armored gun platform, capable of decimating Allied vehicles from considerable distances, while effortlessly deflecting most of the incoming fire. Yet, like any war machine, it wasn't without its vulnerabilities and shortcomings. For starters, the Tiger's weight posed a significant challenge. Despite being equipped with a 650 horsepower Maybach engine, used in the initial 251 Tigers, or a 700 horsepower Maybach HL230P45 used in later units, the tank remained underpowered. This resulted in a lack of agility and speed. While the Tiger wasn't catastrophically immobile, its maneuverability was notably limited. It certainly didn't boast high speeds, although considering its sheer weight, the Tiger wasn't sluggish either. The vehicle's weight led to high fuel consumption, which was a big issue. This was especially problematic for Germany during supply shortages, as it worsened fuel usage. Operating a vehicle that consumed fuel at such an alarming rate proved detrimental in times of scarcity and added strain to Germany's already struggling resources. The Tiger was likewise complicated to the point of being over-engineered. It required near-constant maintenance due to its semi-automatic gearbox and double differential steering system, which was simply not practicable or even possible on the front lines. Tigers suffered a huge number of non-combat losses, as the chaos of war and the Tiger's technical finickiness reduced the number of deployable tanks. This resulted in the Tiger having only a 36% reliability rating, which was one of its major flaws. So, was the Tiger one as lethal as it appeared? If the Allied troops were to meet the Tiger face to face, the Tiger would easily defeat them. However, upon closer examination of its over-engineering and inherent unreliability as a vehicle, it becomes evident that our perception of the German Big Cat might have been influenced by past testimonies, possibly exaggerating its invincibility. Despite its fearsome presence on the battlefield, the Tiger's operational complexities and reliability issues shed a different light on its true effectiveness. Many Tigers had limiting technical difficulties. Several of them were captured, and the Allies conducted thorough performance and penetration testing on them throughout the war. They identified the Tiger I's weak points, which they disseminated to designers, engineers, and tank crews, who began to develop new tank variants and tactics to fight it. The Tiger's harsh reality was that there just weren't enough of them to make a significant difference in the outcome of the war, and creating such a massive technological marvel with such limited resources wasn't feasible for Germany. However, the psychological impact the Tiger had on the enemy forces was enormous, and it would have undoubtedly aided the German tank crews and tank battalions.